Tekken's roster is packed with fighters carrying intense backstories, unique fighting styles, and fierce rivalries that have defined the series for decades. From underdogs chasing dreams to ruthless warriors wielding legendary powers, each character brings something special to the King of Iron Fist tournament. Let's kick things off by diving into the fast-paced, Bruce Lee-inspired energy of one of Tekken's most enduring underdogs, Martial Law. Martial Law is basically Tekken's love letter to Bruce Lee, from his lightning-fast strikes to the yellow jumpsuit nod in Tekken 6's Scenario campaign and his Jeet Kune Do-inspired style. But unlike a classic martial arts hero, Law's story is way more relatable. He's an underdog hustling to keep his struggling dojo open while chasing bigger dreams and debts. His motivation? Paying off what he owes and supporting his family, about as far from world domination as you get here. Before you dismiss him as a joke, hear me out. Sure, he's got a comedic side, failed restaurant attempts with Paul Phoenix, family drama. But in the ring, Law is forceful. His moveset is a fast, aggressive rushdown mixed with smooth stance shifts that can catch opponents off guard. He's accessible, not the easiest but perfect for players who want solid rewards for practice. In competitive play, Law usually lands mid-tier. Not often the top pick, but respected for versatility and speed. Lore-wise, he's the scrappy fighter in Mishima's shadow who still commands respect for grit and skill. If you think Law's story is good, just wait until you meet his hot-headed best friend and rival, Paul Phoenix. Paul Phoenix is the all-American brawler, loud, proud, and radiating an arrogant confidence that borders on cockiness. But here's the twist. He's also notoriously unlucky, whether missing the final round because he got stuck in traffic or falling asleep before a big fight. Paul's life is a comedy of errors wrapped in raw biceps and bravado. But don't mistake that for weakness. He's a powerhouse who keeps bouncing back despite his misfortunes, making him one of Tekken's most enduring characters. His rivalry and friendship with Martial Law is legendary. Part buddy, part foe. This fuels both hilarious antics and serious competition. Paul's iconic Death Fist move, a lunging punch that can obliterate opponents, is a trademark from day one and still a core part of his toolkit. Mechanically, he's beginner-friendly with a twist. His straightforward strikes let new players jump in easily, but mastering his spacing and timing rewards skilled players with real depth. Rank-wise, Paul often sits above Law. In the canon, he's a more credible threat, trading blows with the best despite his streak of bad luck. Competitively, Paul's toolkit is simple but powerful, and many tournaments prove his potential when used expertly. The mix of raw power and misadventure keeps Paul relevant decade after decade. But if you think Paul's blend of muscle and misfortune is something, wait until you meet King. King isn't just a masked Mexican pro wrestler, he's Tekken's moral grappler, carrying the weight of an orphanage on his shoulders. The original King's story is one of redemption and charity, entering the King of Iron Fist tournament not for glory, but to secure funds for the kids he cares about. That mantle passes on to a successor trained by the mysterious Armor King, turning King into a legacy instead of just a single fighter. It's one of Tekken's rare storylines where compassion fuels the fight, even if the brutal wrestling moves tell a tougher tale. In battle, King specializes in complex chain throws and command grabs that punish every failed tech break. His moveset demands heavy execution, attracting grappler fans willing to master multi-step sequences like the giant swing and rolling death cradle. The hours players spend perfecting King's command grabs show just how technical he can get when squeezing max damage. But don't mistake him for a simple brawler. His real danger comes from his punishing throw game and close-range mind games. Rank-wise, King sits in the mid to lower tiers of Tekken's competitive scene. His story feels heartfelt but doesn't shape the world like the Mishimas or Devil Gene carriers. In tournaments, he can be deadly if mastered, but his throw-centric style can be a double-edged sword once opponents adapt. Some origins around King and Armor King remain vague, keeping him in a medium-strength mystery zone. But if you think this masked hero's mix of heart and wrestling chops is interesting, wait until you meet the fiery Taekwondo rival next, Hwoarang. Hwoarang is Tekken's fiery Taekwondo specialist, known for relentless stance switching and a rivalry that burns hotter than most. Before you write him off as just a flashy kick machine, hear me out. He's got serious depth. Narratively, Hwoarang is the rebellious bad boy from South Korea, obsessed with surpassing Jin Kazama. That rivalry gives his story real weight beyond tournament wins. In combat, he commands respect with a dizzying array of stance-heavy kick strings. His left and right flamingo stances let him chain complex combos, mixing highs, mids, and lows to keep opponents guessing. If Tekken's combos are tough, mastering Hwoarang's stance transitions is next level. He's one of the most execution-heavy characters on the roster. The payoff? Relentless pressure that rewards precise timing and spacing. Rank-wise, he's consistently mid to high tier, not the absolute top dog, but always competitive. His military background, complete with an eye patch punch earned in battle adds layers beyond the hothead persona. Here's where it gets interesting. Despite his drive to destroy Jin, there's a grudging respect in some storylines. His complicated feelings make him less villain, more conflicted fighter, one of Tekken's emotionally richest characters. The community's split. Beginners fear his stance pressure, while specialists thrive on it. Mastering Hwoarang is a badge of honor, but if you think his kick chaos is wild, wait until we dive into Ling Xiaoyu's energetic escapades next. Ling Xiaoyu. Ling Xiaoyu is the cheerful Chinese martial artist way more dangerous than her bubbly smile suggests. Narratively, she's this energetic young fighter dreaming of building her own amusement park. But beneath that innocence lies a deep emotional connection to Jin Kazama. She truly believes she can save him from the devil Jin's dark influence, making her more than a lighthearted side character. She's a key emotional anchor in the Mishima saga. Before you write her off as just cute and annoying, hear me out. Xiaoyu's playstyle perfectly matches her story. She's slippery and evasive. Her signature stances let her weave in and out like a whirlwind, especially the Art of Phoenix stance, which lets her sidestep attacks, duck under highs, and approach from unexpected angles that look more like dancing than fighting. It's not just showmanship, it's meant to frustrate opponents by making her incredibly hard to pin down. Her movement is fluid and deceptively tricky, rewarding players who master her stance transitions and timing. This high skill ceiling lets Xiaoyu outmaneuver foes who underestimate her, turning playful footwork into lethal pressure. In early Tekken games like Tekken 3, she dominated tournaments and earned a spot in the S tier with Jin and Ogre. Balance changes have since moved her into upper mid tier. Still strong and feared, but with counters catching up. What really sets Xiaoyu apart is how her story importance lines up with her competitive relevance. She's not just a fan favorite mascot. She's canonically vital for her role trying to save Jin and disrupt the Mishima Zaibatsu. That significance plus strong tournament history makes her a fighter who's both emotionally and technically compelling. But if you think her evasive style is wild, wait until you hear about the unpredictable ninja leader Yoshimitsu. Yoshimitsu is Tekken's ultimate wildcard, a shadowy ninja leader whose motives blur the line between hero and chaos. He heads the Manji clan, a group stealing from corrupt profiteers to redistribute wealth, making him part vigilante, part trickster. The twist? He wields a cursed sword that grants power, but also sometimes wounds him through its attacks. Before you write him off as just flashy, Yoshimitsu's story runs deep. He's more than a thief. He operates in moral gray zones, sabotaging groups like the Mishima Zaibatsu and walking the line between savior and menace. His body is a mystery too. Different incarnations hint Yoshimitsu might be a title or legacy passed down, not one immortal man. In battle, his gameplay matches the weirdness of his story. His moveset has teleportation, hovering spins, and self-damaging strikes, like the infamous suicide stab. These risky attacks hit hard but drain his health, forcing players to balance offense with survival. His style is niche, favored by specialists who love mind games and unpredictability. Competitively, that puts him mid-tier, above Xiaoyu, but below top Mishimas or Brian. Here's where it gets weirder. His cursed sword and regenerating body fuel fan theories. He's more supernatural than human, adding a mystique few rivals match. This blend of mystery and longevity keeps him a fan favorite, even if his complex mechanics hold him back from the highest ranks. Yoshimitsu is the chaotic ninja who defies simple labels. His moral ambiguity and unique style make him a standout in Tekken's roster. But if you think he's wild, wait till we get to Nina Williams, the cold-blooded assassin. Nina Williams is the cold, calculating assassin everyone knows, an Irish killer literally frozen in time. Before you roll your eyes at the just another assassin trope, hear me out. Nina's not just lethal, she's a canonical powerhouse with a personal vendetta, a bitter rivalry with her sister Anna, all while preserved in cryogenic stasis, keeping her youthful as others age. Officially, Nina works as a hired gun for world powers like the Mishima Zaibatsu, targeting key players like Kazuya Mishima. She even appears in Tekken, the motion picture, as an assassin hired to take down Kazuya. That's just the surface. On the battlefield, Nina is known for insane execution combos, ruthless pressure, and punishing mids. Her down forward 2 is a trusted mid counter hit launcher, with counter hit tools that turn light hits into devastating combos. Here's where it gets interesting. Mastering Nina means memorizing multiple punish windows and frame-specific options. The difference between a light jab and a massive punish can be a single frame. This technical ceiling turns her into a pressure-heavy assassin for precision lovers. She's no button masher's dream, but skilled players unleash relentless offense. Unlike Yoshimitsu's flashy unpredictability, Nina dominates with cold, calculated combos. Ranked by strength and story, Nina sits above Yoshimitsu, but below Mishima heavyweights. She's a solid mid to high tier pick, famously hard to master, but hugely rewarding. Canonically, her cryogenic state has her battling through eras, a deadly constant in the Mishima saga. Beneath that icy shell is a fierce, sisterly conflict, proving she's more than just an assassin stereotype. But if Nina's cold and precise intimidates you, wait until you meet the fiery new player coming next, Reina. Reina is the fresh blood shaking up the Mishima dynasty, and she's already stirring up more than just drama. As a Tekken 8 newcomer, she enters the ring not just as a student at Mishima Polytechnical School, but as someone who believes Heihachi Mishima might be her father. That's a big deal. The possibility of an illegitimate heir threatens to rewrite the entire family narrative and power structure. But here's the kicker. Her motives remain shrouded in mystery, leaving fans guessing whether she's an ally, a pawn, or something far more dangerous. Gameplay-wise, Reina's a Mishima-style hybrid with that classic aggressive toolkit. She blends electrics, wave dash techniques, and high-impact strings, but with a twist that feels both fresh and fiercely technical. Initial impressions show her as a fast, explosive fighter who rewards precision and punishes hesitation. The frame data is still being dissected, but early competitive results place her tier somewhere above Nina Williams. Though with thinner evidence since she's brand new, players highlight her adaptability and damage output, suggesting she's poised for future meta climbs. Narratively and competitively, Reina is positioned as a serious contender, not just in the tournament, but potentially the future face of the Mishima conflict. She's the wildcard with the most untapped potential, standing at the edge of the dynasty's power struggles, with all eyes on what she'll do next. But if you think Reina's mysterious rise is surprising, wait until we get to Bryan Fury, the literal embodiment of chaos and cybernetic destruction. Bryan Fury. Bryan Fury is Tekken's walking nightmare, a cybernetic zombie ex-cop who's thrown all morality out the window and fully embraced chaos and violence. Before you write him off as just another brute, hear me out. He's literally the embodiment of destruction with a mechanical twist, designed to wreck anything that stands in his way. Once a police detective, Bryan was brutally killed, and then reanimated by Dr. Abel with cybernetic enhancements, turning him into a relentless force with superhuman strength and durability. On the battlefield, Bryan plays like a heavy-hitting wrecking ball. He's not about flashy combos or intricate mix-ups. He thrives on raw power, wall carry, and aggressive pressure. His moveset includes brutal mid-attacks that launch opponents and allow for devastating follow-ups, especially when they're trapped against the wall. His taunt setups aren't just for show, they reset pressure situations and guarantee follow-ups that can quickly turn the tide of a round. Bryan dominated the Tekken 5 meta, with Korean tier lists putting him comfortably in S tier alongside the likes of Heihachi and Devil Jin. That era cemented his reputation as one of the scariest characters to face in high-level play. But here's where it gets even weirder. Bryan isn't just strong, he's an unstoppable nightmare fueled by nihilism. He doesn't fight for honor or revenge. He fights because he revels in destruction itself. This ruthless mentality shows in his aggressive style. No hesitation, no mercy, just pure overwhelming force. Compared to newer entrants like Reina, Bryan feels like a monstrous titan from another age, with a competitive legacy that still holds weight decades later. So yeah, Bryan Fury is not just a cyborg with a mean punch. He's the living definition of chaos incarnate in Tekken's universe. But if you think that's intense, wait till you see Heihachi Mishima's Iron Will next. Heihachi Mishima. Heihachi Mishima is the iron-fisted despot whose ambitions shape the entire King of Iron Fist tournament legacy. Before you dismiss him as just a grumpy old man throwing family off cliffs, hear me out. Heihachi is not only the ruthless patriarch of the Mishima clan, but also the cold corporate overlord controlling the Mishima Zaibatsu with zero mercy. Narratively, Heihachi's story is all about power, control, and family tyranny. He's the man who threw his son Kazuya off a cliff to test his strength, sparked brutal tournament wars, and shaped decades of conflict. His relentless quest to maintain dominance, both in the boardroom and on the battlefield, makes him a character you either admire for sheer tenacity or hate for absolute cruelty. On the battlefield, Heihachi uses classic Mishima karate with deadly precision. His toolkit toolkit revolves around electrics, the infamous Electric Wind, God Fist, and potent mid-attacks that punish hesitation like a guillotine. His moves are simple, but demand precise execution, especially when mastering his wave dashes and punishing strings. Though not as flashy as Kazuya or Jin, his strong mids and consistent damage make him a formidable force. Heihachi's high execution ceiling means only dedicated players unlock his full potential. When they do, he controls fight pacing, punishes almost every mistake, and racks up damage quickly. His competitive standing is historically high tier, appearing in top tournament play and tier lists near the pinnacle. Always a threat, but rarely the absolute strongest, stuck just below his Devil Gene kin. Here's where it gets dark. Heihachi's brutal leadership is more than a family squabble. His grip on Mishima Zaibatsu fuels wars, experiments, and tragedy, making him a catalyst for chaos. But if you think the Iron Fist is scary, wait until you meet the tortured grandson trying to break the cycle. Next up, Jin Kazama. Jin Kazama. Jin Kazama stands as Tekken's ultimate tragic hero, wielding immense power yet constantly battling the darkness within. Before you think of him as just another overpowered fighter, hear me out. Jin's story is a roller coaster of grief, hope, and inner conflict that shapes everything about his fighting style and legacy. On the surface, Jin merges Mishima and Kazama fighting styles, creating a hybrid that combines the brutal electric strikes of the Mishimas with the defensive parries and counters of the Kazama lineage. This isn't your average one-dimensional character. Jin's toolkit includes strong neutral control, versatile mids, and the ability to punish nearly every mistake with devastating precision. Jin's canonical feats solidify his status. He's the only one to have defeated Azazel, a colossal and otherworldly threat, essentially saving the world at immense personal cost. This narrative frames Jin as the conflicted savior, wielding the cursed Devil Gene power he desperately wants to suppress. His journey oscillates between using that power for destruction and seeking peace, which resonates deeply with fans who see him as more than just a fighter. He's the embodiment of inner struggle. Competitively, Jin quickly rose to S-tier prominence in early Tekken entries, dominating tournaments with his balanced offense and defense. Unlike many Mishimas, Jin's use of parries adds a layer of complexity that rewards patient players ready to punish aggression. Throughout the series, he's maintained a top-tier position, consistently a favorite pick at high-level play, which backs up his narrative role with actual tournament results. But here's where it gets complicated. Jin's internal war with the Devil Gene often leads to catastrophic outcomes, making him a hero desperate for control, but sometimes a harbinger of destruction. It's this duality that cements him as one of Tekken's most compelling figures, always powerful, always torn. If you thought Jin's struggle was intense, just wait until we dive into the dark legacy of the Mishima patriarch, Kazuya Mishima. Kazuya Mishima is the ultimate Tekken powerhouse, an anti-hero turned ruthless villain who fully embraces the Devil Gene and commands the might of G Corporation. He started as the original rebel son, thrown off a cliff by his father Heihachi in a brutal test of strength, only to return possessed by demonic power and burning vengeance. Over the series, Kazuya evolves from tormented fighter to global warlord, embodying merciless ambition and unstoppable force. Before you dismiss him as just another Mishima, hear me out. Kazuya's signature style is demanding Mishima karate, an intimidating blend of precision strikes, electrics, and punishing combos that requires top-tier execution. The infamous crouch dash, electric wind, god fist, and bone-crushing hell sweeps aren't just flashy moves. They're core to his dominance in both story and competitive play. Skilled players know how brutal his wave dash and counter hit setups can be, tearing through defenses with speed and intent. Narratively, Kazuya's full control of the Devil Gene sets him apart. Unlike Jin, who struggles with his powers, Kazuya embraces his demon side completely, transforming into a literal devil incarnate that radiates menace. On top of that, his leadership of G Corporation gives him vast armies and resources, making him a warlord few can match. His unrelenting vendetta against Heihachi and Jin drives major story arcs, placing him atop Tekken's dark hierarchy of power and corruption. In competitive terms, Kazuya consistently ranks among the elite. His electrics and hellsweep mix-ups are nightmare fuel, and his ability to punish mistakes with massive combos keeps him top tier across Tekken's history. While his execution barrier is high, not everyone can tame the Mishima dance. Those who master it wield arguably the most potent fighter on the roster. Here's the thing, Kazuya isn't just a fighter. He's Tekken's ultimate threat. Demon King and Ruthless CEO combined into one terrifying package. No other character matches his narrative dominance and gameplay power. And with that, this wraps up our ranking of every major Tekken fighter, putting the original Devil firmly at the top. If you enjoyed enjoyed this video and want to see more, click the video on the screen now.